The Oliver Corporation. Starting with the Chilled Iron Plow in June 1857, a new farm equipment maker was born. And in February of the following year, James Oliver was granted patents that covered the unique chilling process for his iron plow. Interesting side note, John Deere started making his moldboard plow 20 years earlier in 1837, revolutionizing farming. I'm Logan, and I talk about farm equipment, trucks, tractors, real machines, histories, and diecast. So if you're interested, please go on and subscribe and smash the like button. Now, back to Oliver. By 1868, the small Oliver factory was incorporated and renamed as the South Bend Iron Works. By 1874, the volume of plow orders had grown so much that the South Bend Iron Works, the maker of Oliver's Chilled Iron Plows, had to use its entire capacity to keep up with filling the orders. Trademarks are important to business. So in 1870, the Oliver trademark was adopted and would appear on every Oliver chilled plow produced from then onward. The Oliver chilled plow proved to be so popular that in 1871, the factory sold 1,500 plows. Then the Oliver Company made and sold 17,000 plows in the next 3 years. By 1877, the company had established branch houses, aka dealerships of Oliver equipment, in Mansfield, Ohio, Dallas, Texas, Rochester, New York, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and San Francisco, California. In 1879, the company began to export the Oliver plow to Scotland. Also, the plant expanded and railroad tracks were extended into the plant. By 1881, James Oliver had purchased the outstanding stock. Then James Oliver owned the Oliver Company lock, stock, and barrel. The plant was now producing 600 plows per day and employed 900 people. With lots of orders coming in, James Oliver and his family was looking forward to a promising future. So it seemed until 1885. In early 1885, there were major problems. Labor strikes, riots, and disputes plagued the Oliver factory. However, Oliver reopened his factory on March 3, 1885, and pushed on past these problems. In 1887, the Oliver Company began exporting plows to South America. Thousands of Oliver plows were sold that year. Africa, Australia, and France were the next to receive Oliver's plows. Oliver became the plow maker for the world. Incidentally, Oliver changed his trademarks accordingly. Moving on to 1901, the South Bend Iron Works was incorporated and the name was changed to the Oliver Chilled Plow Works. 50 years had passed and it was now 1905. The Oliver Chilled Plow Works had the most productive year. At age 85, James Oliver passed away in 1908. His son, Joseph Doddy Oliver, J.D., replaced him as president, and J.D.'s son, James II, became director. The company was continuing to grow, and by 1909, there were 2,600 employees working at the Oliver Chilled Plow Works in South Bend. 1913 to 1914 saw sales dropping and business slowing. However, business began to increase in the years leading up to 1918. The Oliver Company built plant number 2 to keep up with the increase in the modern mechanization of farming. The motorized internal combustion engines and a newfangled machine called a tractor. The Oliver Chilled Plow Works stepped up to Henry Ford's call and became the sole producer of tractor plows for Henry's Fordson tractor. For more on why Henry named them Fordson, see my video on the Ford 8000 tractor. There's a link down below. Back to Oliver, with Henry Ford's board of directors showing more interest in his automobile business than tractor production, Joseph D. Oliver realized that if Ford pulled out, they would lose a large portion of their business. This caused the Oliver Company to begin experimenting with the creation of their own tractor. The first tractor they produced was called the Oliver Chilled Plow Tractor. There were only about 20 manufactured and distributed throughout the United States. JD knew that the Oliver Chilled Plow Works would need to offer a full range of farming equipment to remain a competitive company in the growing agricultural market. JD had two options available to him. Number one, spend huge sums of money and expand. Or number two, have the Oliver Company merge with other companies to achieve a full line company. Joseph Oliver chose to merge with three other companies. These three companies were Hart Parr Tractor Works, Nichols and Shepherd Company, and American Seeding Company. These three companies and the Oliver Chilled Plow Works merged on April 1, 1929, and formed the Oliver Farm Equipment Company. Other mergers took place. Soon, the Oliver Farm Equipment Company began adding to their line of machinery by acquiring additional plants.
And here we go, guys. We're going back to 1997 with this model. It was part of the AGCO's Precision Series line. This is release number 5. It is an Oliver Row Crop 77 on rubber tires with a narrow front end. For the day, it was not common to ever see this level of detail back then. Today, this has got the same detail that most of your spec casts would have. However, they don't have hinged panels, they just have panels. See, they put the hinges in there, which is really cool, to open up the hood on both sides, and you can see the highly detailed engine underneath. Big 6-cylinder engine right there that the Oliver 77s and Oliver 88s had. The 66s had 4-cylinder engines, and a lot of the 66s were done on the 77 chassis, and they were not right simply because the engine was too big. There were differences between the 77 and the 88s, but the engine was still the same, and the length of the tractor was basically the same, so you could get away with it. But not the 66. But this here, 77, again, you can see, you have your air cleaner here. The tampos, these were awesome back in the day. These little silk screened warning labels and instructions, just you did not find that back in the late 90s. You have the intake manifold there, carburetor here, exhaust manifold, straight exhaust pipe, but there's a muffler underneath, starter motor, amazing little wiring details on this engine. If we turn him just a little bit, you probably can't see, but there is a rotating fan in the fan for the radiator and fan belts on there. It has soft rubber tires with nice tread pattern on both the front and the rear. Really nice bias ply. These are really, really nice tires for the era. Die-cast rims. Here you can see we have the nice little bar grill, Oliver written down there, and then the Oliver logo right there. This would be the tricolor, red, green, black with Oliver and yellow writing. Then you have the yellow that goes down the grill. Isn't that cool? Model number of 77 right there. Really, really sharp tractor. There's that straight stack. It's also metal. It's not plastic. And then on this side, again, the hood panel opens. So you can see the other side of the engine. How about that? There is the distributor, spark plug, there's the coil wire, and then the spark plug wires are all there, really sharp. Generator, other parts that you need for the engine to make it run. Now, steering on this guy, it does steer, and it follows the gears. It's really, really stiff to steer, but it does steer very well. And you can see it has fairly accurate turning on the steering wheel. Belt pulley here, nice graphics. These were tampos instead of decals, which was, again, not exactly common back then like it is today. Nice die-cast wheels. You can see they have nice tires. These here are Firestones as well, so they're branded tires, which, again, you didn't get very often. You had your two headlights here and here, and then you got a light in the back. Also, a little brake light or marker light back there to warn people. It has a nice seat, swinging drawbar. There's your lever to engage the PTO, which, by the way, is also down underneath there. It has looks like the spring seats, not exactly sprung, but it's there. It has the tampos and warnings on the back, Oliver and row crop written on the rear axles. It has your warning label for your PTO right there, and we'll tip him up back in here just a little bit. Turn sideways. You can see there's the gear shift pattern. It's silk screened on. The individual gauges are individual parts. Switches, levers, throttle right there, gear shift, brakes, and clutch are all right there. Really, really good detail that they did. Now this panel doesn't open on this one. There's your fuel cap, and then up there would have been your radiator cap. Overall, amazing job, especially when you consider this thing was made back in 1997. I was a super fan of the Precisions. They finally brought us really high detailed models of our tractors to the collectors out here. Underneath, you can see there's the bottom of the engine. There's oil pan, and then it has a date tampoed on 0977, which means this was made on the 97th day of 1997. Really, really cool to find something this awesome back then. Die-cast toys and tractors were more toys back then. They really weren't shelf collectibles. There were some collector's editions, and the hobby was really in its heyday right then. But now, this here is actually would be kind of just run-of-the-mill detail compared to what we're getting today. But I'll take this. I think this is really, really cool. I'd rather have one of these than the new ones anyway. So, what do you guys think of this? I am a big fan of the Ertl Precisions, the old Precisions, even though they kind of lost favor. I'm still going to go with them because they were really the beginnings of high detail models.
In the later years, the company became the Oliver Corporation with offices in Chicago, Illinois. Another change was in store for Oliver. The White Motor Corporation acquired Oliver as a wholly owned subsidiary in 1960. Eventually, White Motors made the decision to market the same tractor in different paint schemes on its various brand names. This is why the later Olivers, Cockshuts, Minneapolis Molines, and White tractors all looked the same. Eventually, White Motors decided to do away with all but White branded tractors, which at this point were painted silver, and ended production of all other brands that they owned, including Oliver. A sad end to a one-time giant in the agricultural market. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more histories and product reviews, subscribe to my channel. Also, check out my vlog channel for some interesting trips to antique farm equipment shows. The link is down below. I'm Logan, and I'll be back soon with another video.